The previous discussion begs the question, what is life like in America with no frontier? Certainly, it is different, but is it better or worse? If we have lost the frontier, then we have lost something intrinsic in the nation, our defining characteristic. What we were, we can be no more. So what, or where, are we now? When I think about what has been lost, the first thing that comes to mind is rugged individualism. The great melting pot, devoid of that outlet, the frontier, has created a vast sludge in which even the chance for high endeavor seems remote. We can't reinvent ourselves anymore. We're static, stuck with what we've got. Oh, we cooked up a new frontier. We went to the moon, and now they say we're going to go to Mars. And while this may be challenging for sure and inspiring, it's also a very, very tiny slice of a frontier, really an elitist endeavor, one which hardly touches the lives of most of the inhabitants in any meaningful way. It's more like the concept of a frontier than the reality. So, in a way, we're pretending. The question remains, how can we live without a frontier? The country spoiled us. It was so vast and rich. Now it's all taken. What do we do? Turner wrote, "Frontier did furnish a new field of opportunity, a gate of escape from the bonds of the past, and freshness, and confidence, and scorn of older society, impatience of its restraints and its ideas, and indifference to its lessons. A new world. What a tremendous gift." Robert Frost called it the gift outright, the poem he recited at the inauguration of John Kennedy in 1961. The land was ours before we were the land's. She was our land more than 100 years before we were her people. She was ours in Massachusetts and Virginia, but we were England's, still colonials, possessed by what we were still unpossessed by. Possessed by what we were no more, by what we now no more possessed. Something we were withholding made us weak until we found out that it was ourselves we were withholding from our land of living, and forthwith found salvation in surrender. Such as it were, we gave ourselves outright. The deed of gift was many deeds of war, to the land vaguely realizing westward, but still unstoried, artless, unenhanced, such as she was, such as she would become. As usual, there's a lot in that I don't understand, but I do think the land was a gift to us first, and then we returned the favor by giving ourselves to the land. And what exactly has come of that, such as she would become? We have turned the land we have ruined the land, not entirely, but we're working on it. We have ruined the water. Hell, we've even ruined the oceans. We've tilted the balance of nature. And in spite of all this rampant exploitation, we are more than $20 trillion in debt, a figure so insanely large that we don't bother to think about it, and we don't take it seriously. It doesn't make us pause, it doesn't even slow us down. Yet the meaning behind the figure is that everything we do or build or plan is destined to collapse, because we live not in reality, but in a castle built in air. We lead false, shameful, wasteful lives, and we have no intention of stopping that. Our band will most definitely be playing when the ship goes down. That's the one thing we can count on. Or two, that the band will play and the ship will go down. It's doomed, rotten at the core. The question remains, can we live without a frontier? Can we invent one? Or has the edge of the frontier shifted into urban areas where people inhabit turf and defend turf and try to extend the boundaries of their turf, which they naturally do because boundaries are confining, and then they will need what Turner called the disintegrating forces of civilization, which we call violence, which Rap Brown said was as American as apple pie. Turner would agree. America was built on violence. Where violence flourishes, it is there you might look for frontier. I think Americans, partly out of habit, partly out of a great reluctance to let it go, still live on frontiers. It's wild and dangerous there, but if they can hack that, they can feel strong and unencumbered. They can still feel free.